Welcome to Deep Thought. Some people are simply street smart. Now, I talked about having a high IQ and everything in my last episode, and that's tested in a static environment, piece of paper, you answer certain questions and everything. And you get some people, let's be real, there's plenty of people, they probably wouldn't do well on that test. They probably wouldn't. They'd probably be C students, average students at best. Average at best. But they would be C students or barely got through school. But they'll be very successful in life. Why? Because they have street smarts. And street smarts just means this. It don't mean, here's a simple meaning for it. It means they understand people. Because I'm gonna tell you what, going through life, you have to. I don't care what your IQ score is. I don't care what you do in school. Going through life, you gotta deal with people. Most jobs, you have to deal with people. You gotta deal with people to even get that job. Because you still gotta interview. You know, you still gotta interview. You still gotta interact with people. And depending on your job, you know, maybe being able to interact with people can really help. Like I said, like I mentioned, I had a retail job. Now, I learned a lot on that retail job. And I saw definitely, like we had this gentleman, he worked in the men's section. And he was a good dude. He wasn't the most articulate, nor was he the most computer savvy. But he knew how to dress and he knew how to connect with people to make sales. I never forget, one guy came in just to buy a shirt, just a shirt. Now that shirt would have cost him about, at the time with the sale, maybe about $40. He spent about $1,500 because this guy, who probably wouldn't have done well on the IQ test, was very good at connecting with people. So the salesman, shoot, he started like hooking them up. He said, well, you're gonna need this necktie, you're gonna need this jacket, these pants, these shoes to go with it. After he got through, shoot, and he got a little bit of commission on it and everything. See, here's the thing though. And you get plenty of people like that, people who can just navigate. When they say street smarts, that means they can navigate with other people. Like if you really know relationships, if you can really navigate with people, one, you can be successful. You can be successful in life because you have to deal with people. You got to deal with individuals. If you're going for jobs, if you know how to really navigate with people, because a lot of jobs, I'm gonna tell you something, let me give y'all a secret with jobs. If they call you in for an interview, they really just want to see if they click with you. Look, first of all, if they call in 20 people for that one job, all the people they call in gonna be qualified. It's just a matter of, do they click with you? Because I've talked with some supervisors, managers, human resources people who interview people. A lot of times it's just click. That guy I mentioned, the sales, he said, yeah, you go on the interview, don't wear a red tie. Don't wear a red tie. I was like, okay. They just know it. Because when you have street smart people, they just know how to navigate in the world. They know how to navigate. That's why you get a lot of them. They can make a lot of money. May not have did well with some in school, but they can read people. They can navigate with people. Usually the term street smart is associated with going through bad neighborhoods, right? Dealing with a lower class of people. But you got to be street smart to deal with them. You got to know, like you got to know, like street smarts is just knowing how to interact with them, how to walk, your tongue, your speech intonation, anything. That's still smart. You still got to deal with them. That's why some people, they can walk through a bad neighborhood, nothing happened. And some other people walk through and they're going to get robbed. In fact, I knew this guy and, I'll just say he allegedly dealt contraband substances in fresh air environments. And he said he would go through certain bad neighborhoods just so they get used to his face. No other reason. He said, yeah. I just go through that neighborhood so they get used to what I look like. I was like, oh snap. That was smart though. That was street smart. You know, you walk a certain way, park your car in certain areas. That's street smart. It's really how to navigate out here. And some people just have that, and really it's just as legit as having book smarts. It's just as legit as having a high IQ, because you're actually interacting with people, you know? Because, and like I said, this ain't against it. In fact, you should have both. You should have both. I'll get into that in the next episode. You should have both, because you still got to get through school, and it still puts you in position to make money if you, depending on what you're doing. It can still put you in a good position, but you still got to talk to people and everything. And you got some people, I met plenty of people, they probably wouldn't do well in school. I probably didn't do well, but they can always get a job because they know how to interact. Like I know a dude around this area, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he knew how he could interact with people. He knew how to interact. He stayed in jobs, you know, he stayed in jobs and doing different things because he could interact. Because a lot of it is like, I'm gonna tell you what, even with a lot of jobs, it really is like who you know, how you get along with. I had an FBI agent tell me that. An FBI agent tell me that. You know, when they interview people, it's not so much about their credentials, but whether or not they felt comfortable with them. It's a shame, but you know, it is what it is, you know? And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. Knowing how to deal with people, that's what it is, because everything is a relationship, really. Everything is a relationship. You know, even me talking on this video, that's a relationship. You know, interacting with people like in the comments, that's a relationship. And it's very important to really know what you're doing. It's really important. But, and you know, I wouldn't, really I would say is a very important, it's something you need. Even if you have an IQ, you still gotta have some street smarts. Like I said, you know, in the last episode, I talked about, you know, working retail. I had a rocket scientist and a professor, and they were just like, I was like, meanwhile, you had some people didn't have, neither one didn't have that level of education. They could get stuff done like boom, boom, boom. They knew how to fix stuff and everything, you know? And because one thing going through life, well, I'll get into that more in the next episode. I'll get into that more in the next episode, because everything's connected. If you have both, great. But some people simply got it, and you know, they'll do something. I've met, in fact, I can think of three people, not one, not two, but three people who had 8th grade educations, but they had PhDs in street smarts. And they actually did very well monetarily. They did extremely well, but they knew how to interact with people and everything. So very important, very important. So anyway, that's all I have for right now, today. I forget which channel I'm on. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.